Hello everyone, you are on the Player Review channel. In this video, we will talk about two fairly affordable cards that will surely interest many. As before, we will compare them with similar cards and beyond. It will be interesting, don't switch off. Let's start with the Legend, who has a medium stocky body type, a height of 176 centimeters and 4+5 in stars. For chemistry style, Engine is an obvious choice, so we recommend it first and foremost. In playstyles, it is worth highlighting 3 golden shot talents, as well as pleasant bonuses in the form of Trickster, Trivela, Press Proven, and other useful talents. The roles are predictable, but the main thing is that there is an advanced forward ++. Traditionally, we begin with the speed boost. Thanks to the playstyle, Mueller is quite explosive, so he starts off well. However, his speed boost is not as stable and explosive as that of guys with quickstep. Sometimes it doesn't work at all, or Mueller lets the ball go too far ahead. On the other hand, if you have relatively safe space ahead, you can confidently use speed boost. As you can see, the German lets the ball go on the sprint, but then controls it confidently thanks to Rapid. Of course, he won't be able to outrun truly strong center backs, even despite his stocky model. So you shouldn't pass the ball to him under pressure. At the same time, you won't often need to pass under pressure because Mueller makes great runs into the penalty area and just outside it, which makes him stand out compared to classic runners. Thus, the German is primarily a penalty area player and is well suited for those who prefer to build up play to the opponent's box. As you have already guessed, it's all about the power and accuracy of his low shots. The main thing is to get the ball to Mueller and then just shoot. It doesn't matter which corner. As you can see, even relatively weak shots still go into the goal because of the new scripted playstyle. Remember, to activate this shot, just tap the shoot button quickly and lightly. Also, let's mention the presence of Trivela, which, just like in Suarez's case, perfectly complements the low-driven shot. Thus, Mueller can automatically shoot Trivela low, which further increases his effectiveness in the penalty area. And even more, a low-driven shot works outside the box or right at its edge. Plus, it consistently breaks the goalkeeper's animation. We should also recall the golden power shot combined with Trickster for something similar. We immediately say this only works against weak opponents and from relatively close range. Power shot itself is far from as effective as the low-driven shot, so it seems a bit pointless for this card. Golden finesse shots are much more useful, allowing you to score from truly long distances, including with the left foot. However, Mueller lacks long shots, and this is noticeable. He doesn't always score from long and mid-range distances with Engine. So, you can try Hawk. Again, here's a successful left-footed shot with Engine, where the ball went accurately but somewhat weakly. On the other hand, shots from closer distances are often successful, and overall, we would still use Engine as the primary style for this card, because the stocky body needs a left stick boost. By the way, here are the R1 movements with basic technical. In reality, the movements are quite jerky, so you need to be careful. Moreover, with Trickster available, it's better to use it rather than trying to turn on the left stick or through R1. Again, Trickster helps to better set up finesse shots and so on. In general, Mueller has a very good combination of talents for a central forward. For example, here, First Touch, Trickster, Trivela, and Low Shot all came in handy. Despite his modest height, the German has excellent jumping and heading, which can also be useful. The only thing we lacked a bit was skill moves and tiki-taka. For example, in this episode, the ball deflects after a one-touch pass, or in the next one, a similar deflection occurs, although not as critical. But overall, the passing is fine, even without talents. At least for a central forward, it's sufficient. Summing up Mueller's card, we note that it is a very good option for its price. The card is unique in that it has 3 playstyles plus for shooting. Yes, power shot is not the most useful talent in the current meta, considering the low shot, but at the very least, it is pleasant, especially if you occasionally practice volley shots after Trickster. In any case, the card is top tier, with quality runs, stable finishing, and huge shot variation. Yes, it lacks skill moves, a bit of distance speed, and just a little left stick responsiveness. But all this is not too critical considering the excellent SBC price. Honestly, if we didn't already have an upgraded Kvaratskhelia for 500,000 or the recent Suarez, we would definitely get Mueller for the main squad. Although, to be honest, if the card had 5 skill moves, we would get it no matter what. Again, if skill moves are not a priority for you, feel free to get him and pair him with Suarez or someone else. We assure you, Mueller will not disappoint. Comparing directly to Suarez, the Uruguayan is still faster, both due to quickstep and controlled lengthy acceleration. But he lags slightly in the left stick and he lacks Trickster. And don't forget forget about Links. Although Suarez's finesse shot seemed a little better. But if choosing between a regular 90 rated Suarez or Mueller, we would prefer the German. Cristiano's versions still outperform Mueller. They are stronger, faster, and just as deadly, especially in terms of finesse shots, despite the 4-star weak foot. But still, try Mueller on loan. Maybe you'll like him even more due to the low shot or other aspects. Adeyemi is, of course, faster, both on wild speed boost and overall speed. Plus, he has 5+5, but he makes worse runs and lacks golden finesse shots. Again, if skills are not a priority, Adeyemi can be moved to the wing and Mueller to the center. Regarding the recent 500,000 evolution cards, they all win in skill moves, but not all have 5 weak foot, trickster, and a combination of finesse and low shot. Overall, there are many truly high quality and interesting options in the game, making it easy to get lost. We are also constantly looking for the best but affordable cards, and Mueller is exactly one of those. We would love to play him, but 4-star skills no longer suit us, and waiting for a 94 rated evolution is not an option. So, we confidently recommend this card to anyone for whom Elastico and similar moves are not critical. At least play with alone, you will surely like the card. If you have any questions, write them in the comments, and we will try to respond quickly. We rate Gerd Müller's card quality at 9.1 and remind you that detailed ratings will be available tomorrow in our Twitter. For the SBC price, the card receives 10 points. As you know, in EAFC 25, the rewards for the Weekend League are awesome, which means that the game has become much harder to play. Our boosters will help you to get the best rewards. Write in, because the number of spots is limited. And don't forget that we also sell coins at a cheap price. All links in the description. Now let's analyze the Arsenal player from Brazil who has a lean body type, stands at 190 centimeters tall, and has a 3+4 in stars. For chemistry style, we recommend Shadow, though you can try Anchor if you prefer pure lengthy acceleration. In playstyles, the key ones to highlight are Jockey and Anticipate, along with the default Intercept. But it's great that this card also has aerial abilities Pinged Pass and Bruiser. Let's start with an example where Jairzinho easily breaks away. That's expected, but let's just check the speed with Anchor, which gives Gabi pure lengthy acceleration. Overall, decent, but nothing special. Now here's a test with Shadow, focusing on the longer acceleration type and near max sprint speed from stats. This looks better, but still not ideal. In general, his pace is sufficient in many situations, so we wouldn't call him slow, especially when it comes to animations. For instance, pay attention to his recovery speed after an interception. His high reactions help here. However, in ball control, he feels quite heavy and sluggish, so you need to be careful. On the plus side, his mobility is fine off the ball. That's where the gold jockey shines, making it valuable for virtually any defender. For example, look at how quickly Gabi closes the gap while jockeying in this clip, really fast. Again, jockey helps in controlling opponents' acceleration, speed boosts, and so on. Additionally, Anticipate enables sharp but, more importantly, precise tackles without risking fouls. Sometimes these tackles can even be quite aggressive. But here's the issue. Gabriel surprisingly lacks aggression and physical dominance in duels. It even gets comical when he fails to overpower an injured Zico, as seen in this clip. Not to mention bulkier players like Kaká and so on. That's why you always need to manually press tackle to trigger Anticipate or hold the shoulder tackle button to activate Bruiser. When tackling manually, he does feel more aggressive. That said, you can still use his body to shield opponents and take possession, meaning his model and base aggression are enough for this type of defending, but he won't be someone who aggressively wins back possession or bulldozes through attackers. Another downside is the lack of block playstyle, leading to suboptimal block animations. However, his defensive awareness is solid. He often steps in to intercept and can outmuscle smaller opponents. But against bigger forwards, the same issue resurfaces. He struggles in physical duels and can lose his positioning. That's why you should always control his actions manually to minimize mistakes. Of course, his heading is reliable due to his height and aerial abilities. Passing is also excellent, thanks to pinged pass and high passing stats, making it easier to play out from the back. To sum up, this Brazilian card is a mixed bag. Some of our boosters really liked him, but we weren't as impressed. So, he's unlikely to make our starting squad, though we might give him another chance soon. Right now, we'd rather use Ruben Dias, Bremer, or Upamecano instead. That said, Rafa Marquez felt even weaker than Gabriel, not to mention Ben White's card. If you remember our Stam review, it was a similar case. On paper, the card looked fantastic, but something was missing in-game. Yet for some, he was the best defender. Gabriel is in a similar spot, but his price is significantly lower. So, if you still need a center back and can't decide, it's worth taking the risk and trying him out. After all, 170,000 fodder isn't a huge investment, and if you've already completed Gabriel's SBC, share your thoughts on the card. We'd love to hear them. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments and we'll try to answer quickly. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on future reviews. We're giving Gabriel an 8.5 out of 10 for overall card quality and a full 10 out of 10 for SBC value. Thanks for watching and see you in the next videos.